Hello to everybody, thanks for coming. Please take your seats. Thanks for coming to this evening session that is after a long day. So it is a special pleasure for us to have all of you here. And we will have this more or less 1 hour roundtable in which we will present some data of a European project. So it will be a list of speakers that are listed, and we will try to take shorter presentation, and in case there is need from you to, if you want to take some questions, those questions are welcome. So I thank to Samir Drobi and Davide Spadaro that are from ICPP Post-Harvest Pathology Committee that allowed us to have this session, and we are ready to leave, but I give the floor to Lluis PALOU that is chairing with me this session.
Thank you, Gianfranco. Welcome to everybody. My name is Lluis PALOU. I'm a post-harvest pathology researcher at the IVIA, the Valencian Institute of Agrarian Research in Valencia, Spain. And I would like to introduce Professor Gianfranco ROMANAZZI. He's the coordinator of this PRIMA project, so he will start with a presentation of the project.
Thank you, Lluis. And I will briefly introduce our project. Okay, and we know that we need to be sustainable because we have to leave a better world to the people that will come after us. And as we heard this morning, we have to try to reduce the waste and the losses. We talk about losses when they happen into the field, and of waste when the consumer is involved, from the supermarket to the home of the people. And in EU there is a strategy called Farm to Fork, where it is planned to have a reduction of 50% of food waste. It is planned a reduction at the same time of 50% of synthetic pesticide, and it is planned an increase of organic agriculture. As well, the company, the retailers claim a lower amount of synthetic pesticide as compared to what it is planned by the law. So they require an amount that can be 1/3 or half. So it is not easy to be grower all over the world, but much more in EU. And together with a list of partners, we promoted this project that is called the PRIMA project that found some experience, and this project aimed to tackle the food waste. The ambitious initiative is the one that define protocols that wants to reduce the waste from 30% to 15%. We are aware that it's pretty ambitious, with the reduction of discarded fruit and with the reduction of the application of synthetic pesticides. So through an implementation of alternative to synthetic pesticides. We have a list of activities that deals with the application of physical means, natural compounds, and biocontrol agents, through the scaling up of those activities that we hope that some of them one day can be applied by the companies. We had already a meeting in Cyprus last year, and we need to try to go through the experience of the company. So wherever it is possible, we have visit in the packing house with the partners, to try to teach the people that work in the packing house to the identification of the different pathogen and try to implement strategies that can lead to the reduction, hopefully with the reduction of application of synthetic pesticide. We have a list of papers. We have a poster in which those papers are listed. Over 20 scientific papers. So I thank all the people of the project because they allow to achieve very, very good results that are available for the international community. And you can find some information on the website or on social media. And this initiative is ending at the end of April, and we will see if it will be possible. We just had the meeting yesterday to organize an international meeting on post-harvest and on this project in Ancona in late January. But can follow through another initiative that it is a COST project. COST is a European project that fund the movement of students and of older scientists, but there is a chance for anybody to join these projects, and there will be initiatives, short-term mission for people from all over the world, specially dedicated with people, with young scientists that can move in another lab, can spend a period and stay there as well. It will be some meeting organized, stick to Congress, so everybody that wants to join, there are a list of working package, and you can just click on the QR code. We hope that it works and it will link to the page. Otherwise, you can take just the number of the cost action and you can enter in the working group, and then you can be informed in the activities and maybe to apply for fellowship, for shorter mission, and for other kind of meeting. Another initiative, since we want to toward the sustainable approach, is we know that this meeting ends on Friday afternoon, and most of you on Saturday will travel, but we will have a meeting, in case somebody of you is interested, a meeting of European project called EUFRESCO Basics, and we will have in HEPO, I saw here the chair of HEPO, thank you for being here, Nico Horn. And we will be in Paris to have this final meeting with a restricted number of people, but everybody that wants can follow it online. And that's it. I thank all the partners that joined this meeting and all of you that are here. Thank you.
Thank you, Gianfranco. Any questions for Gianfranco for the presentation of the project, also about the cost action, or any doubts about that? Okay, everything clear. So now we will have several talks about the different partners of the project, presenting some results about what we've done these last years. And the first one will be Gianfranco, talking about Chitosan, essential oils, and ozone as tools to control decay, causing fungi, and control post-harvest decay of peaches.
Thank you, Lluis, and me again, and thanks to all the people that joined this effort in our university, interacting with all the other units. We know that brown rot, and here there are other colleagues that are working extensively on brown rot. In the last decade, a lot of people took the attention on this very important disease that produces a lot of damage, and we had new knowledge on the sequencing of the different species involved in brown rot on stone fruit, so research is pretty active, and we have some experience on the use of natural compounds. We have experience on Chitosan, that is a natural antimicrobial obtained by crab shell that has antimicrobial, eliciting, and film former properties. And it is becoming popular because there are a list of commercial products on the market in different areas of the world. And this chitosan produces a film around the treated surface that can be a fruit or can be a plant, and this slows down the gas exchanges, and this results in a fruit that takes better and it is more resistant to the disease. And we tried, Sarah Macau as a poster, on the effectiveness of different chitosan formulations, because different chitosan formulation, they can have a chain that can be longer or shorter. If it is longer, usually it produces the film. If it is shorter, it's more eliciting. And we tested a couple of formulations at different concentration. Those are just a picture of the effect of concentration from 1 to 0.025. What we can see, both of them have a different or a similar activity, but they were tested toward different pathogens, and there are pathogens that are more resistant or require higher dose to be inhibited, for example, Botrytis cinerea, while the monilinear are a little bit more sensitive. Maybe the fructicola is require higher dosage to be inhibited, while the lax and the fructigena can be contained with lower concentration. This is important if we have to plan some field trials or for some post-harvest trials. We also tested in vivo on strawberry different chitosan formulations together with other alternative to synthetic pesticide. You can have a look at most of them reduce the amount of disease. It is some difference among the different formulations, and those formulations can have a different effect on the fruit that is cold stored or it is kept at room temperature. So the blue bar on the fruit that are strawberries that are treated and cold stored. The yellow bar are from fruit that are exposed directly to room temperature. This is a rank analysis. It is an elaboration that takes together all the trials that we did. But what you can see, the activity is similar except for a couple of compounds that are two. One is essential oil and another is a plant extract that produces some volatiles. So when the product that we apply produces some volatiles, so we have a grapefruit extract and a sweet orange essential oils, they are more active at room temperature because volatiles inhibit the pathogen, while if we cold store for 1 week or so, the volatiles goes away, and they are not enough to contain the pathogen. We also tested in the field with the team of Cyprus University of Technology some of those formulations, and chitosan produces better results than sweet orange essential oil and a mixture of phosphoric acid plus micronutrients. And phosphoric acid is a resistance inducer that try to strengthen the tissues. Another action that we did is to test some volatiles. We used a prototype that make helpful and more easy the testing all those volatiles. We tested a list of essential oils, and all of them inhibited some post-harvest pathogen, but you can see that here as well, Botrytis cinerea require higher dosage of essential oil because the MIC is higher, and the one that has the MIC lower, the monilinear are pretty similar, but the fructigena is a little bit more sensitive as compared to the others. Another activity is the application of ozone on pitch. We applied a couple of protocols. The one that performed best is with 50 ppb during the day and 200 during the night, because we know that during the day there are the workers that goes into the storage rooms. and so we stored for 10 and 20 days. This is just, we apply different sprayers in the field, applying synthetic pesticide, but what it comes from this slide is that application of ozone that up to now is not so much applied on stone fruit, reduced, you can see the untreated, reduced the amount of disease as compared to fruit that are stored without ozone. And Lucia Landi went to investigate the change that occurs into the fruit. We know that ozone is a mild resistance induced, but it delayed the ripening, and we saw that effectively there are some enzymes that are linked to ripening that were at least it was the expression upregulated. Thank you, Antonio. They were upregulated as compared to the control. We saw if it was possible to discriminate through the volatiles the fruit that are infected or not, even in the first stage, and they were differentiated through a PCA. So another activity that we did in cooperation with the food technology team is that of the differentiation. Even our Spanish colleague worked on volatiles produced by fruit and the interaction with monilinear. So even further knowledge can come in this field. So just to summarize, this induction of resistance is getting popular. The number of papers increased over time, and we can modulate this induction of host defense, taking in mind the reactivity of the fruit. So younger is the fruit, higher is the reactivity of the fruit to the stress. And we can imagine a fruit that is in the middle of a battle in which there are the pathogens that wants to attack, and there is the induction of defense with different tools that can increase the resistance and can protect the fruit from the infection. That's it. Thanks to all the people that cooperated to our trials, and thanks to all of you for the attention.
I would like to thank the presence of Liz Korsten. She's an external advisor of this project, and also to congratulate her for her recent appointment as president of the Science Academy of South Africa, I think the first female in history. So thank you, Lisa. Okay, we'll move to the next presentation. It will be by my colleague at the IBIA in Valencia, Maria Bernardita Perez. We are working on the development of antifungal edible coatings using antifungal ingredients like essential oils or natural extracts for the coatings. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity to be here in this round table. I have changed slightly the title. I don't know if somebody has the, no, well. I'm going to give an overview of the work that we are doing in the IBIA in this project, in the StopMedWaste project. It is well known the importance of the Mediterranean basin as a main supplier and producer of fruits and vegetables for the European Union, and that these fruits are highly perishable, being post-harvest diseases the main cause that contributes to food waste. Considering the different alerts raised due to the use of synthetic fungicides, there is a need to look for eco-friendly alternative strategies. As Dr. Romanazzi explained already, the main goal of this StopMedWaste project is to look for eco-friendly alternatives to control decay. And among the different alternatives, the IBIA group is responsible for the development of antifungal edible coatings for citrus, stone fruits, and pomegranates. In the last years, the development of edible coatings have gained a lot of interest, not only by researchers, but also by the industry. As this technology is an economic, easy, sustainable, and a safe alternative to control, to maintain the quality during post-harvest of fruits and vegetables. These edible coatings are formed or formulated with edible ingredients. Mainly, the main ingredients are proteins, polysaccharides, and lipids, alone or in combination. And they have as main function, when applied to the fruit, to create a gas barrier and a water barrier. This translates, when applied to the fruit, in a reduction of weight loss, respiration rate, physiological disorders. These coatings, if appropriately formulated, can help to maintain firmness and also nutritional quality. And they also allow the incorporation of active substance, which provides additional functionality. For example, the control of enzymatic browning in minimally processed fruits and vegetables, or if we incorporate antimicrobial agents, we can reduce or control post-harvest decay. Except for us, few biopolymers, such as Chitosan and aloe vera, that they have inherent antimicrobial activity. This antimicrobial or antifungal activity, in general, most of the polymers or the rest of the biopolymers require the incorporation of non-polluting antifungal ingredients to get this antifungal activity or antimicrobial activity. And among the different ingredients that we can incorporate, we have different food additives and grass salts, natural compounds such as essential oils, plant extracts, peptides, antifungal proteins, there are some words with metal-based and nanoparticles or biocontrol agents. The development of edible coatings with antifungal properties is a technological challenge. The performance of these coatings should be evaluated considering the interactions among all the elements of the system. That is, the target pathogen, coating composition, and here we need to consider mainly in this case also the antifungal ingredient, and also the interaction of this antifungal ingredient with the rest of the ingredients to get a final formulation that is appropriate for this, for each commodity. Because commodity is very important, but not only the commodity, but also the cultivar and even the physiological stage. And of course, the storage conditions. Thus, our objective in the StopMedWaste project was to develop novel antifungal edible coatings for citrus, stone fruits, and pomegranates, able to control decay and maintain fruit quality during cold storage and shelf life. And for this, specific objectives included the evaluation, the in vitro evaluation of many essential oils, natural extracts, and grass salts to inhibit the mycelial growth of target pathogens, to formulate new antifungal edible coatings with the selected agents, the most effective agents in the in vitro evaluation, and to assess the curative activity of these antifungal coatings against post-harvest diseases on artificial inoculated fruit quality, in artificially inoculated fruit incubated at 20 degrees. And the most effective coatings are having later evaluated during cold storage and shelf life. Evaluation to see the effect of these coatings on controlled decay on inoculated fruit during cold storage and on fruit quality. And there is a final stage in this project with the scaling up manufacture and packing house applications of the selected coatings. Now I'm going to give only highlights of the main results, or some of the main results for each commodity. I cannot explain all the work that has been done. In the particular case of citrus, The most effective coatings during cold storage reduce green mold incidence and also severity in the range of 35–50% compared to control samples after 6 weeks of cold storage. Here in these graphs, you have here in the upper side disease incidence and severity, and in black color you can see the control sample, fruits that were inoculated but not coated. In the case of shower rot, effective coatings reduce disease incidence and severity, the most effective ones by 75 to 100% compared to uncoated oranges after 20 days of incubation at 20 degrees. And the coatings also satisfactorily reduce weight loss and maintain quality and improve gloss. Gloss is an important quality attribute, especially in citrus fruits for the companies, actually, during long-term storage and shelf life. And overall, eugenol, enriched pectin coatings perform best in terms of post-harvest quality preservation and decay control. And similar results have been obtained also with mandarins. In the case of plants, we have formulated many coatings with different biopolymers, incorporating different essential oils, plant extracts, or grass salts. Main results during cold storage, just as the most effective treatment or coating, we obtain a coating based on hydroxypropyl methylcellulose, formulated with 0.2 geraniol as active or antifungal agent. This coating was able to reduce brown rot incidence by 30% and severity by 60% compared to control samples after 5 weeks of cold storage at 1. This coating also maintained better fruit color, firmness, and reduce weight loss, and significantly reduce also chilling injury symptoms, which is also a big problem in stone fruits. So this coating, formulated with HPMC and 0.2 geraniol, was selected for the scaling up of by a company, actually by Deco Iberica. Deco Iberica is a company that is also a partner of the StopMedWaste project. And this last crop season, it has been applied, this coating, to nectarines and plums in a packing house at commercial scale. I cannot present here results because we still need to analyze them, and we have still plums in cold rooms. This coming week, as soon as I arrive to the IBEA, we have analysis, quality analysis, and also decay, but I can anticipate that we have the results are promising, actually, in terms of fruit quality and also decay control for both fruits, nectarines and plums. In the case of pomegranates, the combination of a coating based on hydroxypropyl methylcellulose incorporating as antifungal agent sodium benzoate in combination with modified atmosphere package was as effective as fluodioxinil to control natural fungal decays caused by latent infection and wood pathogens. And this coating, actually, or this combination of the coating and the modified atmosphere package was also effective reducing weight loss, important problem for the industry, because pomegranates have a dehydration during storage, and the coating didn't affect negatively any of the physicochemical or sensory quality of the Mollar de Elche pomegranates. Part of the results of this project have already been published in different open access journals. And in this meeting, we have two presentations. one oral presentation that will be presented by Ricardo Lima de Sousa. Is a postdoc, a PhD student that is here in the audience. He will present the results of edible coatings formulated with avocado seed extracts in the control of brown rot and fruit quality of plants during cold storage. And there is also a poster that will be presented by Laura Setier, also here in the audience. Laura is a postdoc, and she will present results of antifungal coatings formulated with essential oils and plant extracts applied to nectarines during cold storage. Well, acknowledge also the financial support and also the hard work of many students, postdocs, and visitor scholars that we have had during the project. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bernardita. If there is any question by the audience, now is the time. Okay, thank you, Bernardita. And we are progressing well, and now is the time of the team of University of Torino. The presentation is from Davide Spadario and Giulia REMOLIF. Giulia REMOLIF will be the speaker. We'll have a talk titled Effectiveness of Antagonist Yeasts and Essential Oil in the Control of Post-Harvest Disease of Fruit.
Thank you. In my presentation, I will speak about the effectiveness of antagonistic yeast and essential oils in the control of post-harvest diseases of fruit. As we already know, the research is aiming to find alternative solutions to fungicides to control post-harvest pathogens, and in particular, we focus on the application of essential oils and biological control agents. In the last year, we worked with several fruits as apples, nectarines, strawberries, and grape, nectarines and strawberries regarding the StopMedWaste project. Speaking about essential oils, they are a mixture of volatile organic compounds, and they are present in over 50 botanical families as Apiaceae, Rutaceae, Lamiaceae, and Asteraceae. And they have many compounds such as monoterpenes that have antimicrobial activity, so it makes them suitable to be tested to control post-harvest pathogen. So I will show you two different work that we did with essential oils, one on apples and one on nectarines. In both cases, we apply essential oils by biofumigation to avoid direct contact with the fruits and so to avoid problem of phytotoxicity. For the work on apples, we evaluate the efficacy of 3 essential oils and a thymol-based formulation against gray mold on apples in storage. First, we did a biofumigation test in vitro. Then we evaluate the efficacy of the treatments in vivo. We characterize the volatile organic compounds released during storage, and then we did a microbiome analysis. These are the results of the efficacy test in which thyme and savory essential oil and the thymol-based formulation were effective in reducing rot incidence after 30 and 60 days of storage without affecting fruit quality. This is a part of the microbiome analysis regarding the epiphyte composition, and we can see that for the thyme essential oil treatment that we analyzed for the microbiome, there is a reduction of botrytis, both at the end of the storage and at the end of shelf life. But at the end of shelf life, there is an increased abundance of penicillium, and this interaction will be explored in more detail in the evening session tomorrow about the pathobiome. The works on nectarines, we tested 5 different essential oils to control post-harvest rot. First, we did a biofumigation test in vivo, then a screening test in vivo where we selected the 3 best essential oils to be applied in an efficacy test with a higher number of fruits, and then we did the microbiome analysis. These are the results of the efficacy test, in which we can see that after 28 days of storage, all the 3 essential oils that we selected were effective as fludeoxonil to control post-harvest rot. This efficacy was lost at the end of shelf life due to the fungistatic activity of the essential oils that we removed after storage. The complete work will be presented on a poster on Wednesday. Then we did some works on biological control, and we selected yeast to be applied as biological control agents because they possess many characteristics that make them suitable to be applied on fruits. The works are on apples, grape, strawberries, and nectarines. On apples, we tested several biological control agents to control white haze. White haze is a disorder caused by many fungal species that form a waxy and opaque film on the fruit surface. And we tested many treatments, 2 strains of Aurobasidium pullulans present in our collection and 3 different biofungicides. And at the end of the trial, we found that 1 strain of our collection and the biofungicides based on Mechnicovia fructicola were the most effective in reducing white haze. If you want to know more about white haze, there is an oral presentation on the post-harvest session tomorrow in the morning. Another work that we did was on grapevine. In this case, we evaluate the effectiveness of antagonistic yeast to control grey mold. The trials were done over 2 years, and in the second years, we did also a microbiome analysis. And then we evaluate the bioprotection activity of the same yeast during winemaking to inhibit the development of Ansenia ovarum that is responsible for negative flavors on wine. So these are the results of the second year trials in which we had 2 strains effective, a Mechnicovia pulcherrima strain and a commercial strain of Torulaspora del Bruechi. We did the microbiome analysis in which we found good development of all the biocontrol agents that we applied and also a development of botrytis, especially in the inoculated control, confirming inoculation that we did. For the bioprotection part, we found that all treatment had a positive effect in reducing the population of Ansenia ovarum, both on grape bunches and then during the fermentation. In particular, the most effective were the strain of Pichia cluveri and the strain of Torulaspora del Bruechi. So by combining the 2 parts of this work, Torulaspora del Bruechi owns the positive characteristic both for the bioprotection and for the biocontrol part. The works on strawberries that we did some screening tests, testing yeast, antagonistic yeast that we had in our collection, and also endophytic yeast that we isolated from strawberries. At the end of the screening test, we selected 4 different strains, 2 yeast of our collection and 2 endophytes to be tested in an efficacy test with a higher number of fruits. These are the results of the efficacy test in which we had 2 strains, an Aurobasidium pullulans strain and a Mechnicovia pulcherrima, that were the most effective as in all surveys that we did during storage and after shelf life, they had a rot incidence significantly lower than untreated control. And also for disease severity, the Aurobasidium strain was the best, followed by the Mechnicovia pulcherrima strain. Last, the works on nectarines, we tested the efficacy of some antagonistic yeast to control brown rot caused by Monilinia fructicola. We did a screening test to select the best treatments, then an efficacy test with the best treatments, followed by some quality analysis and a microbiome analysis. This will be the topic of an oral presentation tomorrow during the post-harvest session, so I will show you only the results of the efficacy test, in which the 3 yeasts that we selected were effectiveness because they had a rot incidence significantly lower than for inoculated control. In particular, we had a strain that was comparable to the chemical treatment. So I would like to thank the Prima Foundation, the StopMedWaste project, the group of the Turin University, and you for your attention.
Thanks, Giulia. There is any question from the audience? Okay, thank you again, Giulia.
Okay, so we will move to the last presentation of the roundtable, and it will be by Mohamed BECHIR ALLAGUI. He's a researcher at the INRAT in Tunisia.
No.
Hello everyone. I am Mohamed BECHIR ALLAGUI. I am from National Institute of Agronomical Research of Tunisia, INRAT of Tunisia. I would like to thank to invite me to participate in this roundtable. The title is Efficacy of Biological Compounds to Preserve Fruit Freshness During Cold Storage and Shelf Life, but it is reserved almost on essential oil and the reaction of some fungal species on these essential oils. We will see the details. Here you see the important amount of post-harvest fruit lost due to rots, and these pictures are from Tunisia, and the isolation of results of isolation of the determination and isolation of these fungal species are for fungal species Alternaria alternata, Botrytis cinerea, Penicillium digitatum, and Penicillium italicum. These four fungal species are considered the most important fungi causing fruit decay during storage in our condition. So it is necessary to look for a solution and to reduce this loss of fruit during storage, and it is important to look for a biological method instead of classical techniques using pesticides. So we start with the evaluation of 30 essential oils in vitro. Here you have the table summarizing all these 30 essential oil, vegetable part from which oil is extracted, major chemical components, provenance of plant products, etc. So we have the 30 essential oil used in this work. These essential oil were used with a concentration of 500 ppm, first with Alternaria alternata, and this picture is after 26 days of inoculation at 10 centigrades in darkness, and you see here the reaction of Alternaria alternata in vitro toward all these 30 essential oils, and we have some of these essential oils show some efficacy, others without any importance, and for this Alternaria alternata we see the data in this figure, and the most important is cinnamon oil and clove oil that show the mycelial growth inhibition, the most important mycelial growth inhibition, reaching something like near 100%. With Botrytis cinerea, we see almost the same pattern, and we have some essential oil showing some efficacy toward also Botrytis cinerea. And we have the data compiled in this figure, and different some essential oil like Phoenicum vulgar essential oil, Mentha piperita essential oil, Goteria fragrantissima, Artemisia dracunculis, Sibimbogum nardus, etc. Same thing with Penicillium italicum. These fungal pathogens are the most important in the producing decays in stored fruits. So for this reason, we use them in these tested with essential oils. And we have the reaction in this figure showing that Cesium aromaticum, Goteria fragrantissima, and Cinnamon verum are the most important essential oil showing a good efficacy. We summarize these results towards all the three fungal species, you see here. And here we have the best essential oil, whatever the fungal species. And for conclude in this part, we have the cinnamon bark, the most important essential oil, whatever the fungal species, followed by floral bud of cloves and fragrant winter green leaves, with an efficacy from 98% to 84%. These biological compounds, essential oil, seems to be promising candidate to evaluate their efficacy on post-harvest fruit to preserve the freshness during cold storage and shelf life, and this part will be done later. We acknowledge Prima to contribute financial contribution in this project, and for your information, we participate in this Congress with 2 posters that will be presented in Wednesday and Tuesday, next Wednesday and Tuesday. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Bechir. Is there any questions for Bechir? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we open now for a little bit of discussion. So anybody on the audience that can or want to say something about the work we have presented, any ideas, any suggestions? I'm pretty sure most of you are very familiar with post-harvest pathology, so we welcome also ideas or anything that you can say about. So please, don't be shy. Oh, Jim.
Yeah, so in all these presentations, has anybody looked at combinations with reduced conventionals with the biologicals in combinations of both?
No, the idea of from the beginning of the project was just to focus on alternatives to the fungicides, because according to the current European Union policy, their general idea in any crop production is to reduce a lot the use of chemicals, not only after harvest, but also in the field, and to promote a lot of the organic production. So within that context, we thought that it was better to, of course, as you have seen in many of the slides, the control reduction is very low in many cases. It cannot be comparable with imazalire or in some cases with most of the most popular fungicides. But the idea is to start for the next future, if in the hypothetical situation that completely the fungicides are completely forbidden by the European Union, so to have something, even if right now, to have that information, that knowledge, to be available, and probably to keep working with combinations with other non-synthetic means, also combination with some kind of field treatments or biologicals in the field or any other kind of, in order to improve this, in most cases, low control rates that we get with most of these alternatives. But the idea was not to use at all the conventional chemicals.
So, to that light, is anybody talking about the claims that are involved with the final marketplace?
Of course, of course, if we are reducing only 30% the incidence of decay, you will get many complaints. But of course, this is research for, let's say, an hypothetical future situation, to have a tool to start working with something in that case that you cannot use the fungicides. But for example, to tell you an example, right now, organic production of citrus fruits in Valencia, which is the most important area, and we can say the whole Spain, organic production of citrus fruits is about 5% right now. So what are using people? Imazalil, of course. And of course, the sector is pretty aware that if imazalil is not going to be used again, they will have really, really big problems. So that would be a real change of paradigm. But of course, we need to have something already available, some information that say, okay, so with a combination of a biological control that can give a good preventive activity, with a salt that can put a little bit more, no, in this concept of integrating means, and everybody knows that probably this will make more expensive production for the growers, and well, in the case of organic fruit, sometimes you can expect a little bit higher price in the market. So anyway, of course, right now, what is used is the fungicide, and even using fungicides, sometimes you can face some claims because of, it can be many reasons affected, as you well know. But let's say all is this, to have a basic information in order to face a near future in which probably imazalil will not be. I'm talking about citrus right now. Imazalil is the most important post-harvest fungicide for citrus, the most effective. So if that day arrives, which has been closed several times in the last years, but the sector has been able to keep using it until now. So, and the idea of this project was to focus only on alternatives.
Yeah, so what I was trying to get at is the education of marketing, because when they see one decayed fruit in a box, they reject the whole box.
Yeah, yeah.
So is there any attempt to educate the final marketing to accept the box or just remove it?
I think the final client don't want to be educated. They don't want to see any decay fruit.
Right now it's zero tolerance, but
Yeah.
is there an effort to think differently about receiving? No.
Well, there are, for example, in Europe, there are several initiatives. I'm not talking about sending fruit overseas or whatever, no? Which, for example, in the case of Spanish citriculture, let's say we are in a better situation than other citriculture like South Africa or Australia, that they need a longer trips to reach their final markets. In our case, would be maybe a trip in 4 days, something 5 days, a week to reach Germany, to reach our most important markets in Europe. But in any case, as you say, tolerance is almost nothing, no? And some initiatives that, for example, a few small companies start doing that, say, a fruit with a defect or something is still good enough to be eaten, no? But this, these are small initiatives that are starting, and I think it will be more important in the future. but for, let's say, the big share of the agriculture commercial of post-harvest fruits, I don't know how what to mean to educate because the market is money. Money is what is giving the. I think everything gets into the economical point of view, no? So, Helga, please.
Doesn't this eventually result in more food waste? If there is more decay, the market doesn't accept it, a lot more gets thrown away than currently.
Yeah. Well, we need to get to an equilibrium. We need to get to an equilibrium between what's the policies by the administration and what's what you can do about. Of course, if you cannot able to use a muzzle, you will probably, at least, it will be, I would say, a transition phase probably, in which until the sector arrives to another type of solutions, the food waste will be higher. But the idea is that make this transition as short as possible in order to be able, with another means, to go back to tolerance better. So the idea of this kind of research is to have some tools in which in a future day, I don't know when, they can be used to make this transition time shorter as possible. Of course, the food waste, if you don't use a muzzle today, today you are using a muzzle and you are not using a muzzle tomorrow, the food waste, of course, will be, in the case of citrus, will increase. Or fludioxonil in the case of pomegranates, or in the case of stone fruits, which are the only ones that are right now accepted, for example, in Spain. You want to treat stone fruits, you can only use fludioxonil. Pyrimethanil as a gas can be used, for example, for persimmons. But I mean, every year there is less active ingredients that can be used. So you cannot do, well, you can cheat, try to do that. But, and sometimes, some people do, but it's not a good idea, I would say. Samir.
Yeah, obviously you have done a lot of work on this project, just looking in your results. But I wonder, you have so much results, and you have successes here and there, and I wonder if you can connect the dots together and develop a protocol for each specific crop based on the results that you have.
Yeah.
Because you have invested a lot of work, a lot of efforts, a lot of
Yeah, of
money.
course. Let's say the first idea was to get the main abilities of the different groups and to, for each of them, work with the most important crops in their area. So as you have seen, the range of commodities is large in the project. And then the idea is at the end of the project, with the different results that we can get, yes, trying to make a summary of what are telling us all those results and how we can get the highest profit of that information. I don't know if other partners, because I'm alone here, maybe other partners can tell us something else. Antonio, Davide, please.
Lluis, obviously none of these treatments as standalone will be viable.
Yes.
So
We unfortunately it's like that. We know that.
to come up with a strategy how to use these results.
Yeah, but you need to know, you need to have the results and then see what you can do. If you see that, if you use a biological control agent, let's say, for example, in the field, like, according to the results, then you have to look at what you have to try to find out what is this best strategy for every case, because for each case, because each commodity is different, pathogens are different, types of infections are different. So for each particular case, we should be able to arrive to that. Yeah, that would be the idea. When the project finishes, the idea is to have a final report in which we can summarize and to show the best approach that we can take according to what we get with the results. Helga.
So you also have to calculate in then consumer acceptance for fruit treated with these essential oils. We worked with clove oil and some of these other oils before, and the fruit just doesn't taste like a peach doesn't taste like
Yeah.
like a peach anymore.
Yeah, of course.
So this is another obstacle then after, even if you reduce the decay, will this fruit will be accepted by the consumer?
Yes. Well, in many of the cases, maybe we have not time to show everything, but we are conducting sensory evaluation for all the treatments we are doing.
In the particular case of antifungal edible coatings formulated with essential oils, we look for not only phytotoxicity external, but also we do a sensory evaluation after core storage and shelf life. So, of course, depending on the concentration of the essential oil, you can have an effect, a negative effect on food quality. But the results, of course, need to ponderate also and to see what happens with the sensory, because when coatings in particular, not only essential oils, but also if they create a high barrier, they can induce anaerobiosis, anaerobic conditions. So, in our case, for particular case, sensory evaluation is basic.
So in our case,
quality parameter that is included.
we work in a kind of, as Bernard has explained very well, in a kind of a screening process. So we start formulating a lot of different coatings. So then, after we select the best in vitro antifungal ingredients, then we go to the coatings. Then we test them in vivo, in laboratory scale. Then we test them during simulated cold storage. So in each of these steps, we discard most of them. So at the end, we go with what is we consider the best one, in which we have into account sensory evaluation and everything. And in fact, our strategy for this, in this case, in the case of essential oils, when applied alone, have two big problems. As you say, sensory bad properties that can give to the fruit, and phytotoxicity. Many of them are very phytotoxic at even low concentrations. So we thought that one strategy was use them as ingredients of a coating in order to try to avoid a little bit these two problems. So, and that's the idea that we had for these particular coatings formulated with essential oils. Now also, is a small part of this project right now, but we also another important, let's say, current policy of the European Union in terms of post-harvest production is the bioeconomy, the circular economy. No? So we are starting now trying to get antifungal ingredients from food discarded from the industry. So, for example, pomegranates. You use pomegranates to make juice, so then you have generating a lot of peels, membranes, juice, citrus juice, the same. So our idea is to try to get bioactive molecules from this discarded stuff in order to make them new ingredients to make into coatings. So that's a little bit the idea. And Ricardo's presentation tomorrow will be that. We work with the avocado pulp extract, guacamole industry. You make a lot of, you are generating a lot of residue. So we start evaluating the antifungal activity of extracts from this discarded stuff in order if we can use them later as an ingredient of a composite coating. So trying a little bit to close a little bit the circle. Of course, you will not have an efficacy of like of imazalin, of course not. But maybe then this combined with another mean, it can go to.
Lluis, any idea about registration of these actives?
The registration is, you know very well.
So much work, and then at the end you come
Yeah.
to this problem.
You know very well how is the wall of registration in Europe, no? And probably Neus will be able also to explain us a lot about that. But the problem is, right now, I would say is a kind of large contradiction in European policy. From the one side, they want to reduce the chemical residues. They have very ambitious plans to reduce the use of chemicals, but from the other side, they don't open the door to register new alternatives. They keep maintaining the large and long studies in order to register anything, even something that is registered in other legislation as a food ingredient, for example, potassium sorbate. These salts that we have worked a lot, that we know they have antifungal activity because they are preservatives used in food, but you cannot use them as a post-harvest treatment unless you pursue a particular registration for that, which was the case of potassium sorbate. Potassium sorbate, why is allowed to be used now as a post-harvest treatment of citrus fruit, only citrus, because the registration is only for one particular use, not other commodity, no. If you want to use to another commodity, you need another registration. So why? Because the industry, different companies, post-harvest companies, decided to go into the registration of this food preservative. And what happened later? That the European Union has the list of what they call basic substances. Substances which are, let's say, not very toxic, so they have a low toxicity, low general toxicity, but they know they are useful for some uses. So later it was a try to include the potassium sorbate in this list and was denied. So potassium sorbate is not a basic substance, and it is the only food preservative allowed to be used for post-harvest treatment of citrus. But for example, sodium bicarbonate, it is a basic substance, like Chitosan. Right now, basic substances allowed for treatment of citrus are Chitosan and sodium bicarbonate, and I think an essential oil, and each essential oil is different. So each essential oil has to be their own dossier for registering. So it's been a pain for many years, especially for people working with biological control agents, as you know very well, to make the policy makers to open a little bit more the doors for what they want. They want to reduce chemicals, so open the door for other things. But no, it's still very, very difficult. And biocontrol agents. Now, it has been several months ago, let's say a medium open door, a little bit, but not much, a little bit that a new legislation, a new European legislation that will help a little bit to go with the biological to the market. But of course, the sector is not very happy still because it's been a door not wide open, only Jim.
Yeah, in the U.S., we've made progress with biofermentation products. So we're working on these as natural products, like registered as a biopesticide with the EPA's regulation. And we've applied for Agri, and we've been able to obtain that for Natamycin in the United States. So the problem is, though, when we work with DSN, the registered parental company that makes it and sells it to other companies, the sellers of that, they say that the European Union won't process their request. So it represents a problem for the U.S. because we can't ship without a tolerance or an MRL. And they want that for Kodaks, and they want it for Japan, the FATs, food additive tolerances, and so we're faced with only a domestic registration. So how many people are using it? Not many.
Yeah.
We export food.
Yeah, it's a very good example of what we are saying, that
Yeah, but still the EPA is much more liberal
Yeah.
Post-harvest fungicide that works really well, and yet we can't use it because our trade partners want to see it on Codex, they want to see it in EU, so there's no.
Yeah, each specific market has their own approaches, their own laws, and also now China, Japan are big players that, and they come also with very restrictive rules in terms of what goes into those countries, and so it's really complicated, the general situation. Please.
Yes, thank you. I'm just wondering, the timing of the treatment is also important when we talk about reduction of post-harvest diseases. Mostly we are talking the timing that during the processing and packing, but during the storage time after they are harvested, there is a lot of loss and the pathogen is following from the field and there is a latent infection. So is there any system that you can use to treat the product, any product, being they are stored? For example, I know from my example, which I'm working mostly on vegetables, we have carrots and onions, and we harvest them with the soil, and soil-borne pathogens are a lot, and we store them, and then when the producers are going to distribute them, during the processing, most of the things are sorted out. And even those which is not visible, they are latent infected, and during the transportation from the storage, there is a very short brief period that is exposed to high temperature. They reach to the shop. That is where the maximum loss is going. But most of the post-harvest loss is during the sorting and processing because the pathogens is not treated while we are just after we have harvested. Is there any treatment for that? Is there any system? And in addition, this meeting, including the post-harvest pathology symposium, smells like mostly on vegetables. Is there, no, fruits. Is there no a problem on post-harvest disease on vegetables? Because I'm working on vegetables, so that is one thing also. We'd like to collaborate and develop projects, European projects to reduce post-harvest losses in vegetables, especially, which is the root part, is the consuming part. That is the questions that I want to discuss here. Thank you.
Yes, of course, this will depend on every pathosystem. Each commodity will be processed or treated in a different way than other, and also according to the target pathogen. So each disease can have, but I would say that as a general rule, the antifungal post-harvest treatment that you apply should be as fast as possible after harvest, as fast as possible. And then in different cases, this fast can be faster or not faster. So it will depend. But as a general rule, the important thing is to make the antifungal treatment as fast as possible. Because
Is doing in practice, farmers or growers are doing. For example, in my experience in carrots, in whatever they harvest the product and store it in cold room. They will go just see the products while the processing and packing process. So the pathogen is already grown there and it's just spreading in the storage. So I don't know for fruits and other products, but it is applied in practice.
no, of course, in practice, the sector is well aware of this, and in any case tries to make the treatments, even if it's with a fungicide, with imazalil, or even if it is with an alternative. In any case, the sector tries to make the treatment as soon as possible after harvest. For example, if have been attempts for, as I know, for example, some people that try to use a field hydrocooler for cherries, for example. So even before the transportation to the packing house, they make the antifungal treatment in the field with a portable hydrocooler, for example. In the case of citrus, which is where we work the most, it depends on the time of the year, because some citrus needs to be degreening also in the first part of the season. But in general, the treatment is always tried, and of course it will depend on each characteristics of that operation. But the sector and the managers, the growers are very well aware that it's very important to make the treatment as soon as possible, to stop the latent infections and to prevent and have a fast curative activity with the incipient infections. But of course, this will depend on each pathosystem. Each pathosystem can be different in those terms. Kari.
Just a thought as I was thinking, so in one of the slides it mentioned about how 65% of the rots are actually starting in the field. And you know, I'm in Pennsylvania with tree fruit, and it's a similar situation for us. So I'm just curious, what's taking place, or what management's taking place in the field to lessen the rots that make it to storage, or what practices, or is there a crossover?
About what commodity are you talking about?
Well, any of them. I mean, as far as it seems like this is a general trend, as far as a lot of the.
Well, it depends. For example, if we take into account green mold or blue mold of citrus, has nothing to do with a latent infection. So this can be completely different. Yeah, of course, Alternaria is pretty different according to the commodity that will infect. If we are talking about pomegranate hard rot, then you need to do a treatment during flowering, because we know that the latent infection is produced during flowering. Another thing is what difficult is to make a good treatment at this time, because you know the pomegranate flowers escalonating. So it has a big problem also to reach something into the flower. So any case is a particular situation, and you have to have a big knowledge of the epidemiology of each pathosystem in order to go. The percentage you mentioned can be completely different according to many conditions. For example, if we go to brown rot of stone fruits, of course, an amount or a percentage of final post-harvest decay will be due to latent infections, but another amount will be due to wounds during harvest. So, of course, there are many factors affecting, in each particular case, what is the causal of the real decay that you find after harvest. And in any case, you will try to apply the means that can be. So I cannot say a general rule for that.
Well, I'm just curious if growers, like when they're applying their protection during the season, they are thinking post-harvest in mind. I guess that's my ultimate question.
Yeah, for example, as Antonio has explained very well, in the case of pomegranates, in which many of the rots are due to latent infections, if you don't go to make a field treatment, then you are in a very bad situation. With only, unless you use a fungicide like fludioxonil, as a post-harvest treatment alone, you will not be in good shape to reduce the incidence. So then you need to go to field treatments, and in any case, when is the best moment to do it and how? And
well, I just see it's sort of like this disconnect, even though like some people, some commodities, it's like they're very well aware of the need for pre-harvest intervention to prevent post-harvest, but it's like that there is a disconnect with some growers. I mean,
yes, yeah.
So that's why I was just
I'm sure. I can imagine that. Well, for example, in Valencia, in our case, most of the growers, when the fruit is picked, they forget about it. So they will never spend an only euro to make something that will avoid post-harvesting, because once the fruit is harvested, they get their money and that's all. Another case is a big company operation that have the fields, have the companies, have a brand, and is commercializing. Then they can look at everything and do whatever. But this is not, these are exceptions. In Valencia still we have, let's say, mini agriculture. So many growers, farmers, small farmers. Of course we have also big amounts of land that belong to big companies, and they can have this kind of approach. But in many other cases this cannot be done. So exactly, yeah.
I got it.
Or for example, we know that most, or let's say high percentage of decay caused by green mold, by penicillium, is because wounds that are inflicted to the fruit during harvest, few days before harvest, those wounds, of course, are made by harvesters most. But what happened in Valencia? the harvesters get paid by the kilos they harvest. So you have to explain them. Be careful, be careful. Yes, yes, but what they see is the kilos they will have at the end of the day. So they start, is another example of how things, so even if you, as the owner of the fruit, you can say, well, it's important to have a smooth and careful harvest, because this will be a via of entrance of the, no, but tell this to the harvester, so then you have a problem there, no? And also these people are in syndicates, and there is also political stuff related, and well, it's always complicated. In contrast, we go to Lleida, for example, where we harvest of pears and apples, and they are paid by the hour. Those harvesters are paid by the hour. I don't know why in one place is like that, and but it's like it is. So that can make a big difference in terms of final incidence of decay, for example. So, Neus.
Just comment for not finishing this round table so pessimistic, because it seems that all is really pessimistic. I think that these things, it has to change, because in Europe, the European Union, with the rules are to reduce the number of pesticides, and we have to do, but it seems that we don't have the tools to start to have this. This has to change, because it is ridiculous that in Brazil can have a registration of one biocontrol agent in 6 months, and here it's practically completely impossible, or very, very long and difficult, and this has to change, I'm sure. They have started to change the law, but now the problem is when the way to study the dossiers of these biocontrol agents, of these substances, these low substances. But at the end, we are eating the pears or the different fruits from Brazil that are coming treated with biocontrol agents or with this kind of treatments. I was in Wageningen in this conference of biological control. Some people, for example, my colleague Cherry was there also, and there are people from the European Union, and it was a very big discussion about this, that we have to change, and they say that they are trying to change. They are trying to study these dossiers in another way, easier. But if in 2030 we have to reduce 50% of pesticides and increase 25% of organics, we have to have tools. Then projects like Prima, or a lot of projects that are being conducted, these are good results, and we can use these different biocontrol agents, substances, and so on. It seems that they don't work as well as fungicides, but we have good results also. We have to be a little more optimistic.
Well,
and it will not be one treatment, it will be an strategy.
exactly.
We will need strategies.
Mm-hmm.
We will need strategies, not only one biocontrol agent or one coating. It will be
Integrated approaches in terms of taking everything into account, the whole picture, not only in terms of treatments, in terms of other actions, in terms of going further with the hygiene, the sanitation, everything. So the sector will need to change many things, because they are producing relatively cheap,
They are changing.
and it will be more expensive.
They are
It
changing.
will be more expensive.
They are changing.
Yeah. But slowly.
They are not doing the things so bad.
Okay, so I'm saying thank you all for the interesting discussion that we had at the end. But unfortunately, we do not have more time, so we will finish the round table here. Thanks a lot to everybody, and thanks a lot for your apportations. No. Contributions. Thank you.